No, that's not as easy as. User friendly. What was the letter?
672C.
Yeah.
No, it's actually spelling this for. The letter is September 26th of 18. Just 2 weeks ago. And saying we received a payment on April 2018 already.
I'd have to check the account, see if it came twice.
Yeah.
Have you been lucky so far?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I always like. So I can probably just leave and check. Oh my gosh.
$500 to start.
I don't have to so much anymore. First, got home, kept it up most of the time.
It doesn't work out.
This was the whereas with the original knee replacement, it's just be a short little
Call the meeting to order Monday, October 15th. Roll call, please.
Kane.
Here.
Deline.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Boone.
Here.
Schott.
Yes, here.
Sagan. Here. Anderson.
Here. Adopting the agenda sent out on Friday afternoon. Do I have a motion to adopt? Or no, I guess there's going to be a change. Excuse me. Under number 8, I'm going to add discussion on Dakota Metals environmental testing as an informational item.
Under item number 11, discussion and information items, TARS Mullinex brought some information in today that we probably are going to have to look at doing a special meeting on next Monday if that will work for you, but it's about applying for some funds for the Assistant to Firefighters Grant Program. The paperwork needs to be in by the 26th of this month. He was looking at applying for some funding to purchase a new ladder truck. There's dollars available for vehicles and things like that, but we need to sign off on it. We don't have it on the agenda. We brought it in late this afternoon, so if you guys are willing to do that, we would ask that we set a special meeting under number 11 for that next Monday night.
Any other additions?
Shall I make a motion to adopt the agenda as stated for Dakota Metals under number 8 and number 11, apply for grants for the firefighters and have a special meeting for Monday night for TARS Mullins and the council, as Jerry Simon stated.
May I amend that to exclude the special meeting?
Sure.
The mayor can call a special meeting.
Or the council, yeah. Either one.
3 members, yeah.
So
You want
we can add it at that point.
Yeah.
So we're just adding the discussion on the grant.
As Nathan Anderson stated also.
Boone will second.
Motion made by Schott, seconded by Boone. All in favor to adopt the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes accompany the agenda on Friday. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Doing so moved.
Boone second.
Motion made by Deline, seconded by Boone to accept the October 1st, 2018 meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. No public hearings on the agenda. No public in attendance. Visitors to be heard, Mr. Scott Clunseth, Beresford PRCE. Welcome.
Couple different things. I was just gonna give you guys updates on some PRCE things and also get opinions on a couple things. One, I don't know how many of you have seen, we do have a brand new website that looks significantly nicer, I think, than the old one. Functionally, it still has needs a little bit of work, but, so we did buy, it's just beresfordprce.org. And it's a GoDaddy site. We will be able to start doing online payments now and online registrations, which will be incredibly helpful, especially when we get to baseball softball. But just in general, so we're able to be able to take credit card payments and a bunch of different things where we weren't able to do in the past. Also, we have an online newsletter sign up, so we'll be able to send out monthly newsletters to the website, tie it into our Facebook, tie it into our Twitter, and everything else. So. Hopefully much more functional communication-wise and getting stuff out to people. Again, it's beresfordprce.org. About 3 weeks ago, PRC was awarded $2,500 from the Legends for Kids grant that we have earmarked to move the fences in at the North Fields, pending your guys' approval to do so. We've moved our fences in from where they're at now, about 300 feet when they were designed for adult softball. For the 10 years I've lived here, there's never been an adult softball game out there. We would like to move the fences into 225, which is the youth baseball distance for Little League Baseball. It says we have $2,500 from the Legends for Kids. To do that, we just need your guys' approval to move the fences.
This is the Hy-Vee Legends.
Yeah, yep, so Sanford Legends, yes. So we would reuse all the fencing, we would reuse except for the poles. We're not gonna try and break the concrete off the poles and reuse the poles.
You need a motion from us to accept it?
Well, basically to get permission to actually move the fences, since it is on city land and city property, I'm assuming.
I'll redo that. Yeah, that's cool. These are the north ones.
The north ones, the two north ones. Yeah, so.
I'll make a motion to allow PRCE to begin the process of moving fences on the north fields based on the grant that was given to them.
Here, some second.
Motion made, seconded to approve the moving of fences. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The proposed multi-purpose facility, this is something that originally came out when Jack Lawrence passed away in his car accident 3 years ago now. One of the things we had talked about was building a third field out there. In visiting with Tim and Gina, one of the things that we've spent a lot of time talking about the last 6 months is whether we want to try and get the funds together to build a third field at the North Field or do an indoor baseball softball facility. We kind of came to the determination that indoor baseball softball to allow for year-round use made more sense at this point than trying to do the third field. So we've put different ideas together with this. What you guys have in your packets is kind of our latest idea, and especially trying to bring different groups together and doing different things that probably really need to take place. I'm assuming, do they have the rest of the stuff here?
They should have it all. Yeah.
Okay. So the picture that's by the big field. Okay. So the idea, and the one I just handed you is probably a little more better visual of what the building would look like. But the idea of the building is having the indoor batting cages, the indoor turf, but also to replace both of Kelly's maintenance sheds, the ugly white one that sits behind the concession stand, and the one that's in the park. And also to replace the bathrooms that are at the high school field as well, which are in very poor shape, and to replace the concession stand also. which has no running water or anything within the concession stand itself, either. So the rough idea of this building is 200 by 60. Basically that 60 is about the width that can fit into where that road currently exists, between the baseball field and the bathrooms. We could maybe stretch it to 70, maybe it fit in there, we're not really sure with the walking path or not. But that would allow 2,400 square feet of new maintenance shed for Kelly, 100 by 60 of an open turf area that could be used for baseball, softball, it could be used for morning walking groups for the community, it could be used for an indoor driving range. For the school, it could be used for indoor football practices, indoor marching bands, Rosie speed and agility training. And I'm going to present this to the school board next Monday. And then there, the east end would be a mezzanine for all the batting cages, and below the mezzanine would be the new concession stand and new bathroom. So everything.
What, excuse me?
New concession stand and the new bathrooms. So all of it would, instead of being a whole bunch of separate buildings, all hodgepodge, would be all under one roof, into one solid building. So I said multi-use, community, school, baseball, softball, and everything else, and to work to replace things that seem to be not very functional currently. Any other stuff that you guys have in your packet was potential pricing from two different companies. One was roughly $900,000. That's the one that had the vinyl roof. So it had the more expensive roof and would have the mezzanine as a steel structure. The other one, that's the 147, is for a pure steel structure building. It's the same company that's building Terry's new building out there. And his suggestion was to make the mezzanine and everything inside the building have it as stick instead of making a steel mezzanine. So most people will do that. It's significantly less. So this version would probably be, all told, my guess would be around 350 to 400,000 versus the 900,000 in the other option. Tim and Gina, I think they have a couple good friends that own a concrete business that we want to do it at cost, since the building would have Jack's name on it. So it's just different options to kind of get feedback from you guys, your thoughts, if the location is something you'd even consider, if the building was something to even continue to pursue and work out, or if it's not something that is even feasible within your guys' office.
Scott, out of this close to $1 million, how much are you asking for from the city?
I think we would go with the other option, the other one that's more the $400,000 to $500,000 building. As I don't know, if we're looking at the city, if you take the maintenance shed side of it and the bathroom side of it, which are things that basically replace things that the city currently has, what that value would come out to. All the baseball, softball stuff, and that we can get through grants and through Jack's fund and different things. The building itself, like I said, it depends on how much Tim and Gina can get from their family friends to reduce costs, and how much can be done at cost, how much can be done. I mean, interior, mostly interior, I imagine, will be done by volunteer work or at cost work. So the vast majority is the building itself. The other thing that would ultimately have to be solved, if the city goes in on it, the school goes in on it, is ultimately whose building is it? Which obviously would be something that has to be worked through. If we get really serious about the project, that would have to be something. Who's going to run the building? Who actually owns the building? If it's a joint use building, obviously it would be on city property in that location. I guess really the one look for it is, if it's an idea that we should move forward in looking at more, getting more information about, or if it's just something that there's no interest in, and then I won't spend any more hours trying to work on the project. in that idea.
The one that thought I had was, is it big enough? At 60 foot wide and 120.
This one's 200. The one I gave you now is 200 long.
But the turf surface would be
Would
120
be 100, yeah.
by 60 feet wide.
So we figured it is roughly the exact same size as the elementary gym without any bleachers, including the stage. So you think about the elementary gym from the lunchroom all the way back to the band room. And the gym, take away all the bleachers and that way. So it actually, I mean, you can do a lot of stuff within that space. So in this location, I don't think we can get much wider because of the bike trail and then the field itself. We can go a little bit wider, not much.
Now, if you ever considered to the north of right field, there's a footprint there where the horseshoe pits are at that would fit about 180 by 190 foot building.
Don't fit that much.
To me, like a building like this is a good idea, but like a garage is like, are you gonna, if you built it 60 foot wide, which means on the interior, you maybe have 55 feet
Probably.
of usable space with nets and such. 5 years from now, would you say, I wish this was 100 feet wide?
Well, I'm open to different locations where we can go differently. This was just kind of a little skit because it's where the bathrooms are now. And a functional place for a new concession stand.
That's what I was gonna say, if you move it to the north side, then we kind of defeat that bathroom purpose, the concession stands. So, I mean, just depending on what location, we choose, if there's different options that we can really do with the building.
And the maintenance side part of it's fine, I think, for the most part, wherever it would go.
Your utilities would be easier on the south side than to the north.
I mean, the road, so basically where Kelly's white shed now is probably have to turn into a cul-de-sac. And so you have some parking there already built in. You already have a relatively level surface. There's an existing road. All the electrical's already there, all the water's already there.
Is that a city road from there, or is that just a drive through to that other road?
Pretty much just a drive through.
There's no utilities under there. I mean, there's no sewer line that would run.
The
There's a
sprink-
sewer to the existing bathroom over there.
there's a sprinkler system that
Sprinklers
goes
are running
to the field that runs under there.
Another portion we talked in the PRCE was, that there would be some viewing windows, right? And like an upper deck that people could, this would serve as a viewing spot for people watching the games on the field.
Yeah, so we envision a concrete patio would come off the building, and would go all the way to the fence. So you actually have a covered concrete patio to sit and watch games versus sitting on your lawn chairs and having the yellow piping in your way so you can't see anything. So there would be things to enhance the viewing for the games as well.
I guess back to what Nathan had mentioned about the width and stuff. I mean, I'm the same way. Whenever I build something, I'm like, I think it should be bigger. I've rode my bike on that bike path there, and that cement is kind of crappy anyway. So it wouldn't hurt my exactly. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if we looked into a wider project as far as the building goes, and if we have to replace that crooked sideways sidewalk there, walking path, that wouldn't hurt my feelings at all one bit. So, just another thought.
I'm just thinking with baseball, I can envision people are in there doing fielding and maybe some hitting and grounding practice. And if you're talking putting a batter width-wise 50 feet away, that gets pretty tight when you put 20, 30 kids in there.
So that's, the mezzanine would have the batting cages, so the downstairs would just be for ground balls.
That's what I mean. You're talking a pretty narrow hallway essentially at 50 foot wide, 35 foot, whatever it is, 100 foot.
Yeah.
Would it increase the value of the building by 50%, or would it increase 15% because
I don't think it'd be very much.
but yet the usable space would almost double if
Yeah.
you.
The steel buildings are pretty much custom designed for the most part anyways.
So the interior of it, Scott, I'm not familiar with this mezzanine.
So just a second story.
So like if you're practicing golf swings or batting or whatever, I mean, I'm assuming it doesn't hurt the surface or.
No, we would just have a batting cage upstairs.
So there'd be nets for
There'd
that.
be nets.
But I mean, in the turf area.
There would probably be netting throughout the entire interior.
Okay.
Um,
I kind of assume there'd be something to protect.
Yeah, I mean, the one in Harrisburg at Perfect Practice, that's not Perfect Practice anymore, but I can't remember what it's called now. Theirs is just purely the insulation. They just hit into the insulation, it just has a thicker insulation lining on it, and they just hit straight into it. I imagine, but we put batting nets all the way around.
Another fact, I guess, to kind of point out to council is when we first talked about this at PRCE, it was, do we put it out at the north fields, or do we try to put it by the south field or the high school field? And I think we all kind of thought that it would get much more use, it'd be more useful here than out there. And then also trying to incorporate some improvements for the city, and everything was attractive, so.
Well, the city there definitely needs to be a new bathroom out there, and a new shed for Kelly would be fine, but I'm gonna be practical about all the gee whiz wow about this, and offer my opinion that the city has spent a lot of money in the last couple of years over wow and gee whiz stuff that are completely unnecessary to function. And the swimming pool, we overspent on that, in my opinion. And now we're looking at another $500,000 project that isn't gonna return a dime to the city.
Well, but, and I don't disagree.
Please let me finish. It isn't gonna return a dime to the city. And we're being asked by PRCE to contribute a significant amount of money to this. And I'd have to see something a whole lot better than what I've heard so far to lend my support to it. It's nice to have, but do we need it?
And Tom, my only point was that the city wouldn't be, and correct me if I'm wrong, be expected to fund the full thing. I mean, there is the Jack Lawrence Fund that has been started, and we would
We're searching grant money for it. If the school will do stuff with it, we would probably, so that the school's brand new partnership with Avera, we'd probably see if Avera had any aspects of it that they would want to go into it. Obviously, we have Stanford Clinic, so I mean, there's different versions within that. We would probably ask for some city money. The biggest catch is if the location is okay, and being willing to use that location. And I know the one guy brought up, I would have, or whoever did would have to find out, does the city have any requirements as far as height limits for buildings, in the middle of town, and different types of things along that, but that's a lot farther down the road than this initial conversation. So this is just simply an initial conversation to get opinions, so. Otherwise, the other two things, I was just gonna let you guys know, we're doing some exploration, trying to find a location for a new youth center that most likely PRC would run. For a couple reasons, it'd be used during the mornings also for the new fitness programs that we started. It would be used for 20-year-old get-togethers, 30-year-old get-togethers, and different types of things, but we really want to see somewhere an actual true usable youth center. We've looked at a couple different locations, and if anybody comes up with other ideas for locations, just let me know as we come through. We're trying to look at something that could be open during the week, probably 3:30 to 6:30. Then we would hold some of our fitness classes in there at night, and then on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, it would be open until whatever 12 or whatever it is, depending on the age level. But we really would like to get a tree youth center started. So if anybody has ideas for locations, just let me know for that. The last one was just updated on PRC programming. Some of the things are going really well. We have 15 people signed up for the half marathon, full marathon training program, which amazed me that we have that many. We have 15 kids starting after school enrichment classes tomorrow. We have a retirement planning class coming up if anybody's interested. If I remember right, it's on the 29th. We only have one person signed up, so we're looking for more people. Volleyball will be starting in January. One thing we are going to do in the spring is I learned from the town that they just got done with their triathlon. Their triathlon was clay shooting, darts, and beanbags, which I thought was kind of a neat social fun idea that we might try in the spring. Whether those are the three we go with, I don't know. But it was kind of a neat idea. Teams of 6, choose 3 people for each event, and sounds like kind of a fun day. So we'll give that a try in the spring as well. Otherwise, Taekwondo is really good. We will be starting self-awareness both for men and women, and especially high school girls, hopefully. A self-awareness, self-defense class on Saturday mornings. That's self-defense and fitness. And we just had 6 that attended a one-night self-defense 2 weeks ago. So we are trying to see the things. Some things that didn't go. We tried to do a beanbag league in cooperation with the golf course. We only got 2 teams to sign up, unfortunately. So a few things aren't working, but we're trying to do new things as well. So.
How's the traffic to your website? You track that at all?
I haven't. I could. I just haven't looked at it. Usually when I'm on it, it's to actually change pictures and update our registrations and stuff. And we sent out our first newsletter 2 weeks ago. So everybody that has a kid that's taken part in the community education program all the way back to last May, not voluntarily signed up for the newsletter. Because I had their emails. They all got added to our website newsletter. And nobody sent me an email saying, please take me out. So that was a good thing, but typing in 310 emails wasn't very enjoyable. But this is what it is. So those are the 5 things I had down. The biggest things was permission to do the fences and just kind of see if continuing to do some work, some preliminary work about the facility was something that was a possibility.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brett.
Yeah.
Next on the agenda, Larry Christensen. Okay. We'll move on. Mayor report. I received a copy of an environmental testing plan just this afternoon. So I had a chance to print it off. It's 150 pages long in regards to Dakota Metals. The state has, I believe, agreed. If you want to add anything, you're welcome.
Yeah, the receiver requested, that was court hearing last week, requested approval from the court to hire an environmental consulting firm to do an assessment of the materials out there as well as any of the facilities, including the city sewer lagoons. And so that's been approved and sent out to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and they are working with the environmental assessors to make sure all the proper testing is done. So that's the next step in the process.
So they have a pretty extensive plan, it looks like. DENR looked like today when I read through it, commented and made some additions,
Right.
Which were included then in the
Some water sample
study plan that they're going to carry out, and we will receive reports when they're completed.
We're gonna go into executive session now, we take care of Larry.
Okay.
Into our first item now.
Right. We have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel.
Second.
Here's the second.
Motion made by Stagg, seconded by Erickson to enter into executive session for personnel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Is Doug on?
Do we need a motion for part-time hires to,
Police officer?
yes, need a motion for part-time.
Shot, make a motion for part-time police officer at, is it 20 an hour?
Dave settled it.
Dave Stuckelberg, at $20 an hour for approximately 20 hours a week.
No more than
You better say 19.
All right, no more than 19 hours a week.
Erickson second.
Motion made by Scott, seconded by Erickson to approve part-time hire of police officer Dave Steckelberg at the rate of $20 an hour, up to 19 hours per week. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So I can make a motion for the voluntary sick leave donation.
Any second.
40 hours. 40 hours.
Do you need to add that 40 hours in there?
Motion made by Svagan, seconded by Kane to approve sick leave transfer up to 40 hours. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, the 2019 Bridges Golf Course rate. It says proposal. I'd like to just maybe say introduction. Every member has a packet, which the committee met with Bridges staff, and then Tony at the Bridges was kind enough to put together a little informational packet. Currently, without going through every one of these membership items, our fees for memberships are or have been very low historically. As you can see on the chart, we're the second lowest of any course identified within about a 30-mile radius. And what we're proposing to do is to raise our fees by approximately 15% across the majority of the membership categories. In addition, up until this year, or this year included, we've had about a dozen different varieties of memberships with family, couples, couple plus, or family, or individual plus one, and senior, and many different varieties. And the staff at the Bridges really recommended that we reduce the total number of memberships that we have, try to consolidate and offer fewer memberships that cover a more majority of people. So what they had actually recommended, and we kind of agreed with at the time, was a single rate of $450 up to $375, and what basically is about a $75 rate increase across the majority of the memberships. They recommended retaining the college and student rate because there's only a couple of those, and they really want to advocate for anybody who's young, quite frankly, to start playing golf, because that will create adult members. The greens fees they recommended retaining at the current rate, because they seem to be in line with a lot of the courses around the area. Cart rental, they proposed, or we discussed increasing by $1 for 18 holes. Otherwise, it's pretty comparable to most of the area courses. Cart storage fee, no change. Green fees, again, no change. Right now, I think they run about 90% fill rate on the weekends, tee times, so we run pretty full, and we want to keep that pretty full. We didn't want to push too many people away by increasing those rates. But they wanted to retain the punch card, so basically it's about a $75 increase is what the discussion was. And towards the end, if the membership stayed the same, we'd be looking at about $8,500 growth in the revenue based on these proposed rates. And then another item that we discussed was instituting a formal billing plan where we would allow individuals to provide a checking account or debit card account where we could prorate the fee that they have at the course over a period of time, whether it be 4 months or 6 months or 8 months, yet to be determined, so that we could do an automatic billing essentially. So somebody who has a membership and a cart fee, maybe they have $1,000 bill, they would do a 6-month period of time when they can auto pay that off. And again, not that we're going to have this huge increase of memberships, but if we could pick up 5 or 10 people who are interested in paying for a membership over a period of a few months, it would help us.
Yeah, that's one thing I know. Tony did a lot of work in going through all these too, and I know he's leaving the golf course and headed over to the telephone company. Probably didn't have to do that.
He's already there.
Yeah, but he went through and we talked about this for a couple hours.
3.5.
Yeah. So.
What did they say? We've only done 2 raises in the last 10 years in our fees.
This would be the second.
This would be the second. Okay. So we definitely have a better course than some of these other courses that are on here, and we are a heck of a lot cheaper than some of those courses. So I think it's time for us to kind of get back in line with.
I think everybody welcomes discussion now or some contemplation to think about it and come back and maybe make these official here in the next couple of weeks. We don't have there's no big rush right now, but we don't want to price anybody out. We want to be competitive and we want to represent the course that we have here with a fee that's appropriate for what it costs us to operate that course.
Did they tell you how many regulars are Great Life members? What they would consider regulars, locals?
There's only 3 or 4.
Is there?
I can.
Okay.
And there's a few I'm sure you can think of.
On West End. Yeah.
Sorting. But I think that the Great Life, my understanding is it's created some good revenue. It's capped per month.
Right.
There's only
I just
so
wonder
much.
how many of these that would otherwise be members or
Not many.
locals.
What they say, half dozen at most.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not, I thought it was. Yeah.
I just want to piggyback off that comment request real quick. In that 3.5-hour meeting, and we also obviously talked about Tony now being gone and Mike retiring. And I know I've already gotten a few calls. Obviously, Mike has made the word out there that we have discussed not having Thursday and Friday nights in January and February. I think it got miscommunicated because people were calling me and said, how come you're closing the golf course for the whole winter? No, that wasn't the plan. But we talked it over with Mike and we really actually kind of gave Mike that option. And Mike said he'd like to do it through the end of the year. But January and February, he just really didn't think he could do it by himself. And we, not knowing where we're taking the staffing structure out there, we as a committee were okay, or I'm sorry, Art wasn't there, it's Troy and I and me. It kind of said that's up to him. So they're not huge money makers out there. I know they're a great social aspect for our community. I hate to kind of shut them down, but
I think this is a topic for a much longer discussion.
no, I just wanted to put it out there because I know a lot of us, some of us have gotten comments, questions,
I
calls.
have to.
Yeah, so I just want to let you know that we did talk about that.
We specifically asked,
We
do
did.
you want to keep doing these all winter long? And the response we received at least 5 times, I'm going to say, was no, I only want to do it through the end of December. I don't want to commit to it after that because of my commitments out of town. And we asked if you wanted us to hire somebody right now to replace, and the answer was no, because then I have to train. Let's just do it through the end of December, and then we'll figure it out after that. Does that summarize the conversation fairly well?
And we also discussed at length about, well, I guess not at length, we discussed it briefly about we're going to have great discussions about how we're gonna restructure the golf course and who we're gonna hire and how we're gonna run it. I think there's lots of things we need to figure out because, you know, with both of them leaving, we gotta get the right people there or it's never gonna work anyway.
And we kind of discussed that we're gonna have future meetings for that, because we as a committee really haven't even dived into that yet, so. So more to come on all that.
So the rates, if you think they're not high enough, I'm sure you can raise them higher, but we wanted to be fair. And again, comments are appreciated as we move forward from everybody, but we definitely, these rates, we took the input of staff at Ridges as basically.
They said, basically.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, and we agreed. I think we changed one or two of them slightly.
Yeah. Most part it was their idea.
Tom and Tom will know better, I guess, because they do more of the membership. The couple that have talked to me, green fees, rates, membership rates, they understand that they're getting a pretty darn good bargain now. And these are from guys that golf a lot.
And I've heard the same.
You'd agree, Tom?
Oh, yeah. It's cheap.
So I don't think you're gonna run into a wall there.
But that was one of the things we talked about too, is we want to be able to cover some expenses, but we don't want to lose anybody.
Yeah.
And that's why they are where they are. They're only halfway up the list of the golf courses that are around here. We've got a golf course at the top of the list. So.
Well, and we also added the incremental pay, so that maybe it wouldn't be such a big.
I hadn't heard about that. That's a great idea.
So really,
But-
if somebody wanted to in January sign up for membership now, they could have their membership probably almost paid off by midsummer. So I mean, we want to give every opportunity for everyone to use it in a fair way.
The one stipulation was they had to do auto pays, because we didn't wanna all of a sudden have to track people down to pay for their memberships. So,
And that's obviously something we gotta work with City Hall about, is how we're gonna build that.
Okay, I'm gonna move to place this on the table until the first meeting in November.
Okay. Yeah, discussion. Next item, part-time employee pay raises. Last meeting, we had an individual propose a pay raise and for an employee, and I didn't think that it was maybe providing the type of input and information for the council and the committee that oversees the department. So I'd like to see what the council thinks about if there's future pay raise requests, especially for part-time. This has nothing to do with bargaining employees who have step increases that are built in, but reviewing part-time salaries, part-time hires, full-time hires. If we could agree to have those filter through a committee first, to question or to learn a little bit about what it is that the department head is wanting to do prior to it coming to the council, where it gets kind of dumped on us, and then we're asking questions because we don't really know what the background is. So I'm not sure if that would, not necessarily a motion or anything for that, but maybe an agreement that we would want to see the committee involved with some of these decision-making processes prior to it making the agenda, with the understanding that if the committee disagrees with the department head, there's nothing to stop them from still bringing it to the council, because we don't want to put any roadblocks in front of everybody, but at least having a little checks and balance.
Yeah,
Your discussion.
I support the mayor on that because I felt kind of blindsided at our last meeting. You know, I know we have part-time employees that've been here a long time, that are making $11, $10 an hour. And all of a sudden, she deserves this because this, and this. And we went to a vote on it right away. I think this is a much more logical approach to, you know, someone coming in here and saying, I want to give my part-time employee a raise. Here's what I want. And all of a sudden we do it. And I really don't want to see us caught in that situation.
This isn't the first time we've been caught in that situation.
No.
2 years ago, the employee came in and said, I'll do it for this amount, and we went just willy-nilly and agreed to it. So
Yeah.
I guess my complaint at the time is, where is our pay scale? Why are we putting the pressure on our department heads to say, I think this person wants this or this or this, I recommend this? No, if we had some kind of a pay scale for part-time employment up to so many hours, you know, I think the question at that time was, well, cleaning rates, whatever, but we were paying about $2 or $3 an hour less for people that were working and had been doing it for several years. So we've been here before. I agree.
Right.
We just need to get it laid out so that it's fair and equitable for everyone.
All part-time employees.
I think the committee members would be a fair judge to at least bounce these ideas off prior to it coming to the agenda. So like, for instance, if somebody approaches Jerry on Friday afternoon, maybe a gentle reminder that has this gone to the committee, and if it hasn't, maybe we collectively will then advise the individual to take it to the committee and table the matter until it has gone to the committee outside of some extraordinary circumstance. I think that covers the next item as well, candidates for full-time employment. Basically the same premise. I don't think it's appropriate to kind of have somebody essentially dumped on where there's not a lot of knowledge of what's leading up to something. I think a good open discussion prior to the meeting with the respective committee for that department would help everything. And then coming to the council to openly discuss some of these recommendations for full-time employment would be in everyone's best interest. I think it would help us maybe avoid some of the conflict and you know, have a little bit more organized, you know, system of how and who and why we're hiring people. So again, I would just ask for everyone to, if you agree, that's wonderful. We can agree to that. So, I agree. Next item for discussionary purpose, fire department found a grant. Discuss it, I guess, in detail, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, TARS came in my office this morning, and there's a assistance to firefighters grant, and he would like to apply for some money through that. And there's a consultant that the city of Alcester worked with last year and was able to get some money for their fire department. He would like to hire them people to assist. There's no cost up front to this. There is a cost if the grant's approved. And he's targeting a new piece of equipment, which is going to be a ladder truck, and that's what the city is involved in the purchase of a new ladder truck, if that's what he so goes after. So that's what he would like to do. We were not able to take any action or put it on the agenda for tonight, so we'd just like to move it along. The applications are due by October 26th, that's a week from Friday. So we'll have to make some motion and allow ours to go forward with hiring this guy to put this together. He's already working with him at this time. Like I said, there's no cost to it right now, but when we submit the application, we will be submitting it for a new piece of equipment that the city would ultimately be the owner of. So that's the reason we're looking at doing something here. So
What would the cost be?
well, they're estimating $700,000 to $800,000 for a new truck.
And how much would we pay?
We would be responsible for 5% of the cost.
5%?
5%, yes. Up to 5%. Depends on a few little things there. So our share of the total cost would be 5%. So I think you know that ours has been coming in probably the last 5 to 6 years telling them that we need to replace the ladder truck. So This may be an option if there are funds available. I think there's about 315 million available across the United States, and then there will be about 2,500 total awards made. Probably a long shot, but it doesn't cost us anything at this point in time to at least apply. And if he doesn't get it, he doesn't get paid. So that's the beauty of the deal. He gets it, he gets paid, but we give him out a new truck that's gonna save us a lot of money down the road, so.
Erickson moves to approve.
Shot second.
I don't think we can approve this right now, right?
No, I think we have to go ahead. That's what a
That's a
special
special
meeting come up and have that information.
So we have a John motion.
I don't think we do a motion right now, do we?
No, I think you just have to set a special meeting on next week, next Monday would work okay, or sometime before that, if it doesn't work on Monday.
Does any time on Monday not work for anybody?
When's the second round of the football play?
Thursday.
Tuesday. They went every Tuesday.
Tuesday before.
Monday works.
Earlier Monday, 6 p.m. Work? 6 p.m. Monday? And what I add on to that, do we add on to that a potential hire as well?
Yes.
Just so you know.
I think the sooner we let them know, I think the better off we are.
Next item, approval of travel requests. Do I have a motion for the approval of two
One of,
staff?
we may both, or just one of us go, we do get a discount if somebody does show up from Beresford, so.
Colleen so moves to make a motion for travel request.
Motion made by Doreen, seconded by Sagan to approve travel requests. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Boone seconds.
Motion made by Erickson, seconded by Boone to approve payment of bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, a motion to enter into executive session for personnel.
Colleen so moves.
Shot second.
Motion made by Delaney, seconded by Scott to enter into executive session for personnel. All in favor, say aye.